Okay, happy Saturday, or greetings whenever you're joining us. My name is Caitlin, and this is Comeback Yoga's Level 2 Saturday morning class. Today we are finishing up the month's focus on breath, and I'm excited for this practice. It's a little different than practices we've done in the past. We're going to be moving with our breath, and our peak pose will be more stable. We're not going to be balancing or like lifting our legs. It's a little both feet on the ground, but still finding some challenge. So I'm excited to see what you all think. We're going to get started laying back on the mat, but first I'll recommend to grab some water. If you have some, this is my comeback yoga cup. And a block. If you have one, that's great. If not, a chair or standing up next to a wall is great too. And if you don't have those things, don't worry. It's all going to be okay. We're going to start laying on our backs. Oh. And maybe it's morning and you're like, I was just laying down. I don't want to lay down. Can you arrive for a few moments? Just settle in, knowing that we will move, but acknowledging that breath and rest are a part of life. From here, think about your hips. Bring your awareness to the hips. Maybe you resettle the sits bones, or you need to adjust so that it feels like your hips are resting in a neutral position. So the tailbone isn't pointing towards the mat, and your belly button isn't lifting high, and the tailbone isn't really tucked, and your lower back isn't pressing like it's squishing a pancake underneath your lower back. But you have this kind of neutral spine just reclining back. Check in with the shoulders. You might shimmy the shoulders together to create a shelf for the heart, or just make sure that both shoulder blades are resting on the mat as heavily as they can. And from here, we're going to inhale and think about sucking in the belly and tucking in the tailbone like you're going to press a pancake underneath your lower back. So you might feel the abdominal muscles engage, and then when you're ready, exhale and find that neutral spine, neutral hips. When you're ready to inhale, tuck the tailbone, really press into the mat with the lower back, and then when you're ready to exhale, come back to neutral. One more time, just tucking the tailbone, finding the abdominals, finding the mat with a full spine as much as possible, and then exhale, let it go. From here, you might inhale and point the tailbone. So think about pressing the sits bones. It's like you're gonna come up to sit, starting from the hips. We're really kind of lifting the top part of our hips and pointing the bottom part down. And then find the neutral spine. Point the base of the hips against the mat, and then let it go. And one more time, point the tailbone down, and then find your neutral spine. Maybe you shimmy the hips from one side to the other. So I'm going to think about dropping my right hip down towards my feet. I might notice a shift in my abdominals, kind of coming to the left, and my left hip might come a little higher up towards my shoulders, and then I'm going to switch sides. So drop the hip down towards the heels, and drop the left hip down, allow the right hip to slide up. Cool. And then maybe you do one more on each side, finding some mobility. And then from here, we're going to find our banana pose. So I'm going to extend my right leg out to the right side of the mat. I'm going to cross my left ankle over the right, or if that's too tight, you can always just hug them together like they're friends. And then I'm going to shimmy my shoulders over towards the right side of the mat and lift my hands. Lift my hands up past the top right corner of the mat, and you can rest your palms on the mat. You might find the left palm with the right palm, and hold on. It's okay if you don't want to hold on, you can just stack them. Think about sending the shoulders away from the ears and breathing into the left side body here. So we have this kind of banana shape, and we're allowing the side that's extended longer, the left side, stretch, and kind of tucking things in on the right side, building a foundation on the right side to support the stretch on the left. For one more breath, and then we'll switch sides. So, shimmy the shoulders, pass neutral, over towards the left. Find your top of your banana on the left top corner of the mat. I'm a little caged in. Okay. And then I'm going to extend my left leg wide past the left side of the mat and cross my right ankle over, or bring my right heel close to left. So same thing, bringing a lot of stability into the left hip, allowing the left heel and the left hand to find some foundation, and then elongating through the right side, settling the shoulders, and breathing into the right side, getting really big and long for 2 more breaths. Wonderful. From here, we're going to find our tabletop pose. So get there however you like. Maybe you roll into a ball, massage the fascia of your lower back. And then when you're ready, we'll come on to tabletop position. Our hands are underneath our shoulders. Our knees are underneath our hips. I'm going to point my feet out behind me, towards the back of the mat. We're going to find some cat-cows here. So for cow, I'm dropping the belly, pointing the tailbone for the ceiling, and pointing the nose for the sky. Inhaling here, and when you're ready to exhale, send all your air out, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin in towards the chest, and think about like sucking in the muscles of the abdominals, rounding the spine. Beautiful. When you're ready to inhale, find your cow pose, and when you're ready to exhale, cat. From here, maybe you find some organic movement, like shimmying the shoulders, bending the elbows, dropping the hips from one side to another, or making hip circles. You might take a twist. Do whatever you like here for 2 more breaths. So if you took something on one side, even it out. Maybe just stick to cat-cows. An oldie but a goodie. Okay. When you're ready, we're going to find our neutral tabletop. And then for a few breaths, we're going to come into child's pose. But I'm going to keep my feet pointing back towards the back of the mat. So it's a little bit tighter child's pose. Might be a different sensation than you're used to. I'm going to sink my hips down towards my heels. I'm going to extend my hands long so that my forehead can come to rest on the mat. If that's too far away, you can bring your elbows wide and stack your hands in fists to bring the mat to your head. Thinking about sending the tailbone towards the heels, so you have this long line of energy from the base of the hips all the way up to the crown of the head, and we have a little bit of a nice stretch in the back body. You might notice deeper sensations or some space in the shoulders if you bend the elbows and send the hands towards the back. You can bring your palms together or just touch the back body with the palms. Okay, friends, 2 more breaths here, and then we will move with our breath. So when you're ready, if your hands are lifted, you're going to plant the palms, and then we're going to come up to our tabletop position. So make any adjustments you need, find your tabletop, and then exhale, child's pose. Allow the head to be heavy. Inhale, come back to tabletop. So take your time rolling up and then sending the hips back down. As you exhale, When you're ready to inhale, roll up, take as much movement as you need to then arrive in your stable table, and then exhale, come back down. Beautiful. 2 more breaths. Tabletop, and then child's pose. Beautiful. From this child's pose, when you're ready to inhale, we're going to use all of our strength, lift the head over the hips and send the hips forward to come to kneeling. Maybe the hands lift high, or maybe they extend out. When you're ready to exhale, tabletop position. Move slowly. Engage the core as you find the mat with both hands. Inhale here. Exhale, come back, child's pose. Beautiful. Inhale, use all your strength, come up to kneeling. Extend the hands tall or wide. When you're ready to exhale, find your tabletop. Notice the muscles that come in to catch you, to support you. When you're ready to exhale, child's pose. Kneeling. Get there slowly. Think about where you're going before you start to move. Inhale in your table. And exhale, child's. Inhale, come all the way up using your strength. Kneeling position. Tabletop. Tuck in the belly. Find a strong core. Make any adjustments you need. Inhale. And then exhale, child's pose. So strong. From here, find your tabletop position. Tuck the toes. Hips lift for downward facing dog. So now the hips are coming kind of towards the back of the mat. And then your chest is going to follow them. Chest is drawing towards the tops of the thighs. So now we're in this kind of upside down V, down dog. Beautiful. When you're ready to inhale, you choose where you're going to go. You might come back to tabletop, or you might find a plank. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, maybe you come to tabletop. Maybe you find plank, sliding the shoulders forward either way. And then exhale, coming back, sending the hips back to down dog. Inhale. And exhale. Thinking about where you're going, noticing the muscles that you need to arrive, and then settling before you're ready to move. For 2 more breaths. Exhaling for down dog. Inhaling to come forward, plank or table. Beautiful. Then when you're ready, we will stay in down dog. We're going to lift the left leg high. That's my right. Lift the left leg high. And then we're going to step it forward so it's coming in between the hands. So you want to draw the left knee up towards the chest and then drop it forward. It's okay if you take a few steps to get there. You might need to adjust your hands. The right knee can stay lifted or it can come down. Low lunge, we're going to lift the hands, use the abdominals, right? Lifting the head, neck, and chest just like we did in our kneeling position for our low lunge here, crescent moon. Wherever the hands are, think about drawing the shoulders away from the ears and towards one another along the back body. So they're drawing towards the spine. This is a balancing pose. So know that you might need to make some adjustments to your foundation. You might feel more support if you keep that sensation of sucking the belly in or engaging the core. So strong. From here, we're going to drop the right hand, if it's not already, so that it's pointing towards the front of the mat. And then we're going to extend the left hand back, finding your revolved low lunge or low lunge twist. And then when you're ready, we're going to keep this shape with our hands and fold forward, planting the right hand down and keeping the left hand lifted. Maybe the gaze comes high, maybe it comes low. Again, the right knee can be down or lifted. When you're ready, we're going to frame the front foot and step back for downward facing dog. Make any adjustments you need. Settle in for 2 breaths. You got it. When you're ready, right leg lifts high, 3-legged dog. Think about evening out the weight between the hands. When you're ready, step the right foot towards the front of the mat by first bending the knee, sending it up towards the chest, and then step forward. Adjust if you need. Maybe you send the back knee down. Then when you're ready, crescent moon. So lift the head, neck, and chest, lift the arms. They can come high, wide, or palms together in front of your chest. Check in with the hips. Left hip is drawing forward, right hip is drawing back so that our hips are framed or square with the front of the mat. Beautiful. Then left hand comes down, pointing towards the front of the mat. Right hand comes behind, opening the chest over towards the right side of the mat now. Does that engagement in your core help you twist just a little bit? Twisting with the chest and the waist, keeping a long spine, and allowing the head to be neutral, the head to follow the chest. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to keep this shape and fold forward from the hips. Left hand plants down, right hand lifts high. Maybe the gaze lifts too. The back knee can be lifted or come down. Totally up to you. When you're ready to move on, we'll plant the right hand down, framing the front foot, and then step backward downward facing dog. And then we'll find our mountain pose. So we're going to stand at the top of the mat. Get there however you like. Maybe you come through tabletop and step forward. Maybe you walk your feet towards your hands for a forward fold and then slowly rise up. Totally up to you. Take your time. Water. Once you've arrived in your mountain, settle in to the space where you stand. And then build this mountain by wrapping the muscles around your frame. I'm going to come face you. So you might bring your mind's eye or focus to your feet. Think about really pressing as much of your feet as you can feel on the mat. Press it down. Think about stability there, kind of ceiling, like cupping, or even growing roots. Sometimes we talk about rooting down in the mat in yoga. Beautiful. From there, you might extend your heels out towards the front and back of the mat, or the sides of the mat, thinking like you're going to rip the mat in half just with the strength of your feet. It's going to wrap the muscles of the legs around the frame. You might notice your kneecaps lifting. From here, point the hip points forward, so hips are neutral. Draw the navel into spine, or think about sucking in the belly, engaging the abdominals. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Hands can be low or maybe they lift high, doesn't matter where they are. You want to reach the fingers away from the shoulders. Shoulders are reaching away from the ears. Find your center and reach through the crown of the head to arrive in your mountain pose, tall, rooted, strong. So noticing the strength of your body as you find stillness. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to lift the hands if they're not already lifted and hold or find a side bend over to the right side. So maybe the hands hold one another, maybe you hold one hand, or maybe they just come together. Totally up to you. And send the shoulders over towards the right. Still pressing evenly as much as possible into both feet. Beautiful. And then come through center. Keep that engagement in the feet, and then find your side bend over to the left. Shoulders drawing away from the ears. 2 breaths here. Noticing how this feels in the hips. Along the side body, so we're kind of making our banana, but vertical. So strong. When you're ready, come back to center. We're going to find our chair pose. So send the weight of the feet into the heels. Press the legs towards one another. And then point the tailbone for the mat. Bend the knees so that the tailbone comes closer to the mat. Look down. Can you still see your toes? If not, you might need to find a deeper bend, or send the chest forward as you bend. Okay, so we have this kind of like lightning bolt shape or a chair shape, like we're gonna sit in a chair. From here, draw the palms towards the chest or extend the palms towards the ceiling, facing one another. Chair pose. You decide how deep you bend your knees. Think about sending or pointing the tailbone down to the mat. Beautiful. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten the legs. Lift the head, neck, and chest so that this gaze comes towards the ceiling. Maybe the arms come wide towards a cactus, bringing your wrists over the elbows. It's finding a baby back bend. Keep this engagement in your core to support the back body. Beautiful. When you're ready, exhale, child's pose. Sink down. Beautiful. Inhale, baby back bend. And exhale, child's pose. Chair pose. You got it. Inhale, baby back bend. Exhale, chair. One more. Inhale, tiny back bend. Just pointing the chest towards the ceiling. And exhale, chair. So strong. Find your mountain pose for 2 breaths. Coming back to your breath. Allowing the shoulders to settle as you exhale. Bring the weight into your right foot. Left foot steps back for crescent lunge. So the right knee is bent, left heel is lifted. Maybe the hands come high or maybe they come to center in front of the chest. Using our arms a lot, totally up to you. Think about squaring the hips for the front of the mat. Left hip comes forward, right hip comes back. Still drawing the navel into spine or bracing the core. So strong. When you're ready, we're going to find that same revolution we did in our low lunge. So left hand comes forward, right hand slides back, and then allow the gaze to be the last thing that arrives in this twist. So don't hyperextend the neck. Just find your twist, and it might be easier on the upper body if you goalpost the arms. And it might not. Notice what you need and adjust. From here, big move, we're going to unwind the hands, bring the right hand forward, left heel comes down, and then the toes are pointing out, heels are pointing in, left hand extends towards the back of the mat. 5-pointed star. So get as big as you possibly can. Think about stretching through the fingertips, stretching through the crown of the head, getting as tall as you can, taking up as much space as possible. So strong for 2 more breaths. Beautiful. You can drop the hands down, let them rest. We're going to build our peak pose, this revolved triangle. So we're going to point the right foot towards the front of the mat. And then I'm going to bring my left foot forward a little bit. I'm going to bring my left heel behind my right heel. So my right knee is pointing forward. And then I'm going to point my left toes in a little bit. So maybe they're at a 45-degree, maybe it's somewhere in between. Adjust as you need, because we're going to send the hips towards the front of the mat. So once you rotate the hips towards the front of the mat, adjust as you need in the feet, so you're not putting too much pressure on your knees. And then find your foundation by really pressing the outside of the left foot into the mat and finding strength in the hips here. Maybe if you have a block nearby, you can bring it forward. But if not, no worries. If you do, you just want to bring it to the left side of the right foot. So our hips are here. Engage the core. Hips are here pointing towards the front of the mat. Engage the core. You might lift the right hand and lift the left hand, right hand finds the hip. And then we're going to bring the left hand to right thigh or right shin or the block. So this is where we're twisting from the waist and the chest, keeping our hips square towards the front of the mat, and then arriving in this twist. From there, you might adjust your gaze, or you might leave it where it landed. You might lift the right hand high, or you might leave it on your hip. So your revolved triangle, come in and out of it as you need, pointing the left hand for right leg, noticing what you find, still keeping the core really strong to support the hips and the lower back. Two more breaths here. Beautiful, friends. When you're ready, head comes back over hips, and we'll step forward. And then we're going to bring the right leg back for crescent lunge. So right leg step back. There's a bend in the left knee. Hands might lift high, and they might come to the chest. 3 breaths here. Notice your hips. Think about pointing the tailbone towards the back lifted heel, or the right heel. Lifting through the chest. So strong, friends. Still keeping that engagement in the core. We're building strength. Breathing through. When you're ready, we'll revolve. So we're going to reach the right hand forward, left hand back. Allow the gaze to come last. Adjust as you need. This change in orientation will change our balance. Settle in for 2 more breaths. Take your time. And then when you're ready, big move, unwind, find your 5-pointed star. So the right heel comes down, toes are out, heels are in, arms extend wide, shoulders draw towards one another as the fingers draw away from one another. Pressing into the mat with the feet, reaching through the crown of the head, inhaling to get really, really big, exhaling to let everything go, settle the shoulders. 2 more breaths. You got it, friends. Drop the arms, and then we're going to build this revolved triangle on the other side. So the left toes are going to point towards the back of the mat, and then we're going to, or towards the front of the mat, whatever works for you, towards the short edge of the mat, and then we're going to bring the right foot forward, right heel is behind the left heel, and we're going to slide the right toes so they're coming forward now. They're not pointing out. Beautiful. From here, we're going to straighten through the right leg, tiny little bend in the knee. And when you're ready, point the hips for the short side of the mat. So you might need to adjust the back foot once you've readjusted your hips to square the short edge. When you feel like you have your strong foundation, really press into the mat, just like we did in mountain. Find as much of the mat as you possibly can. Seal the feet there. Lift the right hand high, and then extend, sending the hips, folding from the hips, extending forward, and then finding right hand to left leg for a revolution or a bit of a gentle twist. Maybe you find the left thigh, maybe you find the left shin, maybe you find a block on the right side of the left foot. The right hand might be on the right hip, it might be extended high. For 3 breaths, check in with your foundation, adjust as you need, and settle. Beautiful, friends. When you're ready to move on, we will come back to our standing pose. and take our sun salutations. So find the front of the mat. Going to inhale to extend the hands. Maybe they come high, maybe they come wide, lifting through the body. When you're ready to exhale, we'll find our forward fold. Maybe you allow the head to be heavy, send the hands down towards the mat, and let go. Maybe you don't want your head over under your heart. In that case, just tucking the chin might be your forward fold, and we're working on adjusting to the change in balance as we move with our gaze. From there, inhale, halfway lift. So we find our hands on thighs or shins, make like a number 7 with the body, extending through the legs and then long through the spine. Exhales, find your fold. Allow the head to be heavy, whether it's just tucking in towards the chest or dangling over the mat. Inhales, use your strength, come all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Allow the head to be heavy. Some space in the lower back. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, fold. Take your time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. One more time, all the way through. Find your fold. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come all the way up to standing. So strong. From here, we're going to find our crocodile pose. So, we're going to come to lie on the mat on our bellies. Take your time getting there. Legs are extended long behind, and the elbows are wide, head resting on the hands. Or just send the hands forward and the head can rest on the mat, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Come back to your breath. Allow the hips to be heavy. Send the armpits down towards the mat. They're not going to touch, but just think about energetically sinking the shoulders down straight towards the mat. 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, extend the palms down along the thighs. So allow the head to come to the mat. Fingertips reaching for the heels. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the head, neck, and chest for locust pose with our legs down, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, head comes back down. Allow the hands to be heavy. Shoulders can come towards the mat. On your next inhale, locust pose with the legs down. So strong. Exhale, come down. Beautiful. One more time. Locust pose. Maybe you lift the legs here. Maybe you keep them pressing into the mat. And then when you're ready, exhale, bring them down. Find the elbows wide on top of the shoulders or in front of the shoulders. From here, keep the left leg extended, and the right knee is going to come out to the right side and extend for our half frog. So you're sliding the right knee up so that it's either right beside the hips or lower than the hips. You just don't want it higher than the hips. The big toe edge of the right foot is resting on the mat. We're just going to think about sending the right hip down towards the mat, allowing it to be heavy. For 2 more breaths. You got it. And when you're ready, switch sides. So extend the right leg long. The top of the right foot can rest on the mat. And then we're going to slide the left knee out to the left side. The big toe is now resting on the ground. And then we're going to slide the knee up towards the left. So it's either parallel to the hip or lower. Still sending the shoulders down towards the mat. Two more breaths. Allowing the left hip to be heavy. Releasing any tension where you're holding it. Can you let it go? And when you're ready, we're going to extend both legs long and slide the elbows underneath the shoulders, hands pointing forward. For Sphinx pose. So the palms are really pressing into the mat, and now my chest is lifted. Think about releasing the muscles of the core. You're like, finally. Okay. And then we're going to slide the elbows down towards the heels. So they're not actually moving, but you're sending this energy to, or this engagement, this intention to open through the chest, sending the shoulders back. So pressing the hands into the mat and really allowing the front body to rest while the back body engages to find this intention. So strong for 2 more breaths. Gaze is just slightly in front of the mat. You don't want to have a ton of creases in the back of the neck, so no need to look straight ahead or even towards the ceiling. Just look a little bit towards the front of the mat. When you're ready, we're going to let the Sphinx pose go. Take your time coming to rest on your back. And then from here, we're going to bend both knees and allow the hands to be heavy, either to the sides or on the belly button, just noticing the breath. When you're ready, we're going to exhale. Allow the knees to fall to one side. It's okay if they don't touch the side of the mat or touch the actual ground. Inhales, knees come back to center. Exhales, knees drop to the opposite side. Inhales, knees come back to center. Exhale, and then inhale. So allow the hips to find, both hips to find the mat when you come up and inhale, and then exhale, the far side or opposite side hip is going to lift. And then inhale, both sides of the hip settle, and exhale. Beautiful, even out. And then we will find our cosmic egg pose, which is kind of a strange name, but we're just going to draw the chest in, the knees in towards the chest. Draw the head up towards the knees. Maybe you hug the legs with the arms or the hands, and really think about drawing everything in towards as much of a tiny little ball as you possibly can. We have all of this energy in this tiny little space. And then inhale and exhale. Inhale one more time. And then exhale, let everything go. So extend the arms, extend the legs, allow them to rest. And for a few moments, notice that release of tension. We'll settle into our last pose. Maybe you stay where you landed, legs and arms extended. Maybe you lift your legs up against a wall or rest your calves on a chair nearby for legs at the wall. Maybe you like to come to one side or a comfortable seat. Coming back to the breath. And then allowing the breath, the notice, the awareness of the breath to fall away. Taking rest for a few moments, and then I will be here to guide us out. Remember, you can always stay here. Rest is a part of our rhythm. If you're ready to move on, we will slowly and with intention bring some movement into the fingers, the toes, the wrists, the ankles, maybe shimmy the hips or the shoulders. And when you're ready, come up to a comfortable seat if you're not there already. We'll close out our practice. Often we bring our palms together in front of the chest. I like to rub my palms together to create some heat. And you can bring that heat to your face, to your belly button. I like to stack it over my heart. You're important already. You always were. Your presence is treasured. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for allowing me to guide you today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.